Today we've come to JWA Tooling in Leicester now. They've recently invested in a brother machine with an integrated robot loading system, and I wanted to find out from Tim, the technical director, just how easy it is for them to use here. So Tim, you've already got a cobot system, so what are the main differences here then?
I think the main difference between the cobot system and this integrated system is that the integrated system is much more rigid. It's bolted to the base of the machine firmly, and the whole system is a much stronger construction, and so it's more robust, moves faster and stays stable for longer periods of time.
And that helps you with precision of ultimately components at the end?
I think it helps us with setups as well, because there's less setup work to do because we can guarantee references over a much longer period of time.
So this is a 4-axis robot, isn't it?
It is, yes. And we like the 4-axis robot because it's so much simpler to set up than a 6-axis robot. Getting all of the axes zero on a 6-axis robot is very difficult, and when you fail to do so, you fail to get a jaw angle that's perfectly square to the vise when you're loading the part. With the 4-axis robot, it's much more easy to be certain that you're loading the jaw with the part sitting down flush on the bottom faces, and we find that to be a big advantage.
Okay, before we get into a lot of detail here, how does this system work?
The system has a moving tray which moves up and down, and there are 10 pallets inside the stacker unit. So we can work through from the first pallet through to the last pallet in one automated process.
And how easy is it to then change over from one tray system to another?
The machine program handles everything. When it gets to the end of one pallet, it knows that that pallet's complete, and it goes and picks up the next pallet and continues machining.
And then how do you scale that? So say you've got 10 parts on one tray,
Yeah.
How do you scale that then up to say 300 or more?
At some point, once we've exceeded the capacity of the stacker, we would have to reload all the parts with fresh billets.
And then if you've got cubic components and then you've got round billets, can you use the both? Because this is a turning centre as well, isn't it?
It is a turning centre, yes, and we can mount round parts. On the jaws here, we have created our own jaw and 3D printed it. So we can 3D print a shape very quickly to accommodate any kind of shape of component.
And then the trays, because you produce these yourself, which is quite interesting.
We do. We have a flatbed laser machine across the road, and so we produce trays to suit almost any configuration of size and number of components.
But what if a component isn't the perfect size for the tray? How do you do that? Do you guys kind of go up a size? How does that work?
Well, these have all been customised to get the optimum performance out of the specific billet. But in some cases where we have a part that's a little smaller, we just use this tray anyway, because we can still get sufficient parts on the tray for our needs.
And how easy is it to completely, set up a completely new component?
It's very easy. We started out this process by setting up 2 reference points, one for the pallet and one for the vise. We use this artefact which we put in place of the jaws, and we have a special template which gives us a datum right in the middle of the pallet. Similarly, we have a feature here which allows us to set a datum to the jaws in the vise. Once those are set, then those setups work for all the different components we do. We only have to repeat those setups from time to time. So from that point onwards, we're programming the robot jaws from that basis to this corner. And
Right.
so there's only some parameters inside our program that are used to tell it that information. So we can take a template program, we edit it offline, we just give it some basic information about the pallet arrangement and the heights of the components, and load that program in, and it runs. We've completely eliminated any teaching involved in trying to position the jaws directly to the workpieces, so it makes it very efficient.
So your changeover times, are you saying it's quicker then in comparison to, say, like a robot? I mean, a cobot?
I think it's quicker in terms of the cobot, yes, and it's probably quicker in terms of a lot of robot implementations.
And you talked about programming. Is everything done offline then?
Yes, yes.
And just a couple more. This is new to you. Obviously, you're used to other systems. How easy was it for you in terms of a new manufacturer, a new NC program, to integrate it?
That wasn't complicated at all. The language was new to us. The programming language for the robot was new to us, but it looked very similar to other systems that we've used before.
So what advice then would you give to someone who's kind of teetering on the edge of investing in something like this?
I think the advice would be not to be put off by the idea that robots are only suitable for large production runs. We've been very successful in getting very short production runs to work and been very happy with the results. So we've been able to run jobs that literally just run overnight and are finished in the morning.
But you've been quite inventive as well though, haven't you?
We have. We've set up our own method of setting the datum so that we don't have to repeat that each time. We've eliminated the teaching process in the setup of each unique job, and we've worked with these template designs to enable us to optimise the load on the table for a variety of different jobs.
Would you say this is the future?
Yes, I think so, yes. And we aim to try and get smaller and smaller quantities on here. Even if we saved half a day of a man's time, then that's worth it.